mean, we're in a different world, especially here in New Jersey. These opportunities didn't exist when I was in school. Now, you have students that come from, different backgrounds. Sometimes, come from, families that are undocumented, and they have the opportunity to go to higher education, pursue a college degree with no debt attached to that.
When the New Jersey Community College Opportunity Grant came in, it was actually a big relief, not only for me, but also my family. My aunt was not okay with me paying for any student loan.
College recognizes that and is looking to move in a direction where we help those communities and those in need, those that don't have the resources or the background and would still want to pursue higher education.
One of my proudest moments of my life started my first day starting at Brookdale, because my academic career was always important to me since high school. Graduating high school, I knew college had to be a next step for me and my family. So Brookdale inevitably became that for me.
I was in my late 40s. I was doing very well financially, selling cars. When I lost my job, I tried to find different ways of making money. It's the only thing I knew how to do, make money. I realized in the auto industry, now at this time when I got fired, I had a house, I had 2 cars, 2 car payments, 2 kids. One was probably like around 4 years old, the other one was around 7 years old. So thinking of the future, how am I going to be able to provide, knowing that I have nothing to fall back on. Every single way I turned, no one would hire me. So, biggest challenge I had was school. I said, you know what? It's my only shot. I'm going to take just like my Hail Mary. And I'm going to try and take a shot. So I went to Brookdale, filled out the application form, started to learn about it. I had really no clue what was what. You have to try to figure out.
It was a huge relief for me and my family because they didn't have to worry about, the expenses of thousands of dollars of how much school is sometimes for students, especially when it comes to commuting and trying to figure out, meals and things of that nature. Getting that off my plate was a huge benefit to me, and I'm extremely grateful for it.
It's hard. The biggest problem is that a lot of times we go into these things and not realize the amount of sacrifice you have to make. Be determined. Never give up. Sacrifice going out. Sacrifice a party. It's worth every bit of the actual sacrifice to educate yourself, educate your family, just to continue passing it on. It's really enriching.
Hi there, my name is Bryce. I'm your host today for the Brookdale Undocually interview series, where we're exploring how working class and migrant students can access education regardless of their immigration status, thanks to the Community College Opportunity Grant. Today, we're going to be hearing from Carla Van Sant, a Brookdale Pathway mentor at Brookdale Community College, to chat about this topic. So thanks so much for joining us.
I'm so excited to be here to talk about this important topic.
Yeah. So firstly, could you tell us just a bit about your role at Brookdale? What is your role in, helping students get the opportunities that they need?
Absolutely. So again, my name is Carla. I am a pathway mentor at Brookdale, and I love the work that I do. I get the opportunity to work with students directly, helping them navigate the college process, figuring out what to do because it can be pretty complex when you haven't done it before. And I also have the opportunity to go out into the community like I'm doing now and just spread the word about Brookdale and the Community College Opportunity Grant and the wonderful possibilities that exist to students who connect with it.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely higher education could be difficult for working class folks like myself. When I was applying to college, I didn't know that much about what I needed to do for my applications. Um, that's certainly something that needs to be given greater access. So yeah, how have you seen the community college opportunity grant give students the support that they need in achieving their dreams?
Yeah, I've had the wonderful opportunity to work with so many diverse groups of students, from traditional high school students that leave high school and come on into college. I have students who this may be their first experience with the education system here. Perhaps they immigrated or came to the United States in some form or fashion. I have students who are untraditional and maybe they worked for a while and then they eventually decided that they needed to go back to college. I've worked with so many different types of learners, and many of them are able to connect with the Community College Opportunity Grant. One very important thing about this grant is that it serves so many diverse students. And for those who are looking to pursue their dreams, get into a different career, this is a great resource to help you do that.
What are some of the non-traditional roles of the mentors in this pathway mentor position? What do you do to really, I mean, make a difference in especially migrant students' lives?
Absolutely. So the pathway mentors really mirror the community that we serve. So, like I mentioned before, we have really diverse groups of students who come to Brookdale, people from all different backgrounds, belief systems, which is what makes Brookdale so incredibly special and unique. I love the college just because of the ability for diverse people to come together in this way. But in regards to our pathway mentors specifically, they really mirror that college community. We have pathway mentors like Anna, who really focuses in on our undocumented students to make sure that they know about the resources that are there, that they know how to navigate the college. She's there to answer any questions that they have. We also have Pam, who works in her local community in Asbury Park, and she wants to make sure that students from her community get access to the college. And so she works directly with them. I myself am a first generation college student. None of my family went to school before. I had no idea what to expect. And so I made a lot of mistakes along the way. And I'm really here to help people not make so many mistakes so that they can navigate the process of college, coming out with little to no debt if possible, and their degree much quicker, and feeling confident about what their next steps are. So I'm really proud of our pathway mentors because they mirror the communities that they serve.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Yeah, definitely, it can be very daunting to sort of get into this new stage in someone's life, right? To take the step for higher education, and mistakes are a big worry for many. That was a worry for me. I definitely made mistakes myself as well. It's not uncommon, of course, but you know, obviously, it's better to be prepared for it. So, um, yeah. So, regarding these resources, do you have any sort of practical advice about how students can, or prospective students can apply for these things?
Yeah, so my most practical advice is to get help. You don't have to do this alone, which is really important. I think a lot of students, when they think about college, they become overwhelmed with the things that they have to accomplish, the things that they have to do. And sometimes just getting that start is really, really challenging. So before you get yourself down a rabbit hole or before you talk yourself out of it, I encourage you to talk to someone. If in your heart, in your mind, you know college is something that you really want to do and it's something that's important for you, just take that first step and get help. Our pathway mentors are here to be that bridge between the dream that you have and getting that dream started by attending Brookdale. And so you can come in and talk to us. We have a dedicated team of staff who will be there to support you. For many students, the our admissions office is their first entryway into Brookdale. They meet someone, they fill out an application, and they get to know about the things that we're doing in the college. So you can start with either one of those offices, but ask your questions. Don't let yourself talk you out of it because so many students, including undocumented students, have been able to go to Brookdale tuition free. And maybe it doesn't make sense for you on the front end, but it's possible. And so get the help, ask the questions. You don't need to know all of the answers because there are people who are there that do. One other thing that I want to mention is the FAFSA. The FAFSA tends to be a barrier for students who don't know what to do, or maybe they're undocumented and think they won't qualify to fill out the FAFSA. There are options for you too. The FAFSA is a document. It's safe for you to fill out. So Brookdale is a safe space for undocumented students. So while you fill out this information, it does ask a lot of probing questions. You won't be put in a position where you might experience hardship as a result of doing it. So go ahead and fill out the application. It lets us know what you're eligible for. We have incredible people who will sit down with you. Some of them are Spanish speaking. They can help you fill out that application. And those are the things that will get you going down the path to starting to make your dream become a reality.
Yeah. So I know like for the FAFSA, there might be some standard requirements that people would have, and they assume that everyone's a citizen for some of these, like for a social security number, for example, or tax ID, etc. Yeah, I mean, are there any restrictions for undocumented immigrants to actually or fill out the FAFSA?
Yeah, so the FAFSA application itself does have those barriers, but there is a form that is specific to New Jersey. It is the alternative application that students can fill out, and it's something that is dreamer friendly. So even if you don't have a social security number, you still may be eligible to fill out the alternative application form and apply for state financial aid. CCOG is one of those grants that qualifies as a state aid program.
Fantastic. So maybe we could get more detail on what this program looks like. What are some of the benefits for folks who might need aid or advice for filling out these applications through the CCOG?
Yeah, so CCOG is the Community College Opportunity Grant. For students who qualify for it, they are eligible to attend school tuition free. Coming from a person who had to take out student loans to attend college and who's still paying this back, it's a game changer to be able to go to community college, earn your degree, and to not have to take out loans, to not have to worry about paying that money back. It really is a gift. And the qualifications aren't too heavy either. So as long as your adjusted gross income for your family is $100,000 or less, this is the first degree that you're seeking, you're a New Jersey resident, and you enroll in at least 6 credits, then you're able to qualify for the CCOG grant. So it's something that's really accessible. Over the years, the income threshold has increased, and there are so many people who now have the ability to come to Brookdale tuition free.
That's fantastic. Yeah, are there any benefits for folks who might have low income, but they are not first generation students, for instance?
Yeah, so you don't have to be a first generation college student to qualify for the CCOG grant. One of the benefits of applying for state aid and potentially receiving this grant means that there are other resources in place that could be helpful for you. So a pathway mentor, these are newish positions to the college. We've been around for a couple of years now. And so having that personalized support to help you move through the process is a benefit. We also have FAFSA coaches who are incredibly helpful. So the alternative application or the FAFSA application can be incredibly challenging for some folks to fill out. It's tricky if you've never done it before because they ask a lot of questions. And so add on there the possibility that you might be an undocumented person. There's a lot of things that you have to figure out and navigate. We have FAFSA coaches who can help you complete that application. You bring your documents, we talk you through it so that you don't have to worry about doing it on your own. So in addition to the grant itself and being eligible for that, you also have the ability to have these additional resources to make that transition much easier and smoother for you.
So obviously a lot of migrant families don't speak English perfectly, and that should be fine, right? But a lot of the resources that folks come across require essentially a high proficiency in English. Yeah, are folks who speak Spanish or like Haitian Creole, how can they be supported?
So, Brookdale is a wealth of resources and support. If you are a person where English might be your second language, or you feel like you need to work on your English before transitioning into college, you can do that. We have programs that can help you to strengthen your English speaking skills, our ESL programs that are really beneficial. We have a team of folks who can get you the resources that you need. For some students, that's their first step. They go through our ESL programs and then they transition into their college courses. For other students, they may find out that maybe they're in a better standing than they thought they were, and they go right into our college classes. But there is that support there to help them navigate that and figure out what's going to be the best pathway for them.
Do you have any inspiring stories that you can share from CCOG and like how they've helped students actually get the education that they're seeking?
Yeah, so many. I think so far this is my favorite question. Um, what comes to mind is a student, I'll call him Javier. I met him in the community. So part of my role as a pathway mentor is to go out into the community and tell people about the wonderful opportunities that are connected to this grant. And I was out in the community. I met this student, Javier, and we started a conversation. He told me about how unfulfilled he was in his role. He told me about how he didn't feel respected. He felt like he was really called to do a lot more, but he knew he needed a degree and he didn't feel like college was an option. And so on the spot, we just kind of talked through where he was in life. And from that conversation, we then transitioned into a longer conversation where we started the process of him actually applying to Brookdale. We connected him with the FAFSA coach who was able to help him complete the FAFSA, the alternative application. And from there, he ended up starting classes at Brookdale. Javier just graduated this past May and transitioned into a job where he's so much happier. He's learning so much more. And in January, he plans on starting at a 4-year college. So there's so many stories just like Javier, where he thought it was impossible. He came here, he's undocumented. He ended up in a job that he really didn't like. He knew that he deserved more and he went after it. And he's doing so much better. His family is so much happier. His family's doing a lot better. And it just goes to show like this one opportunity can really shift the trajectory of your entire life.
Yeah, so I mean, the image that a lot of people have of college students is like they just got out of high school. They're maybe like 18 to 22 or so. Um, is that true for Brookdale? Like, what does the age range look like? Do you need to be, a young, just out of high school type of person to be able to go? Or
So, yes, it's true in a sense that we have many high schoolers who transition right out of high school into Brookdale. But no, it's also not true because we have so many students who are non-traditional students. We have an array of students who find themselves at Brookdale. We have students even before they graduate who start their journey at Brookdale. In high school, this may be something that some of you might want to look into. We have partnerships with some of those schools where students are taking classes at Brookdale while they're still enrolled in high school and either earning a degree or gaining credits towards their degree. But we also have students on the other end of that, some of them who started their careers and then decided that down the road they wanted to start Brookdale. And so one of the other roles that I play at Brookdale is as an adjunct. And my classes are so cool because I have just an array of people who are enrolled. I have college students that are like traditional, what you think of when you talk about college students. I have high school students sometimes in those classes, but I have a lot of adult students in those classes. Some of them are juggling school and work at the same time. Some of them have started a career and they're pivoting to a different one. There's so many stories that come through our classrooms and our campus each and every day. So many different things drive people to Brookdale. And regardless of where you are in your journey, if you're looking to get your first start or a new start or a fresh start, Brookdale can be there to help you guide you on that path.
Yeah, so you mentioned some people who are both working and they're in school. How does that sort of time management work? Because I could imagine, like, for some people, it might sound pretty scary to have to, like, I mean, you're both working and you're spending time in school. That can add up to a lot of time. How does that work out for folks?
Yeah, so I have two stories of students that I can share that answers that question. So the first student, her name is Nicole, and Nicole started with Brookdale after she had started working a part-time job elsewhere. She came to Brookdale and actually found out that in addition to CCOG, she was also eligible for other types of financial aid as well. One of those programs included a federal work study program. So she was already working a part-time job and trying to juggle school, and it was really hard because she had family responsibilities too. And eventually she found out that she was able to actually work at Brookdale as a federal work study student and earn money that way. And the offices that she worked in allowed her to balance her schedule in such a way that it was not such a conflict for her life. She was in retail at the time. And so with retail, sometimes your hours can be unpredictable. So with this job, where she was getting federal work study money, so she was being paid to work and paid to work at college, she was able to, in addition to take her classes, build a schedule that made more sense for her. I've also had a number of students, and I'm thinking of a particular student. His name, I'll say, is Kevin. And Kevin is a student who had a full-time job in addition to wanting to go back to school. And so Kevin took advantage of our evening classes. And what he ended up doing was working during the day. He built a schedule that allowed him to end every day at 5 o'clock. And at 6 o'clock, he was starting his college classes. And so initially, he started out just as a part-time student, taking just 2 classes each semester, but still making great progress towards his goal. Eventually, he decided to take a full load, which was 4 classes, but he was still progressing towards his goal. And so, was it challenging? Yes. He had to worry about work, and he was there all day. And then he would come and he would go to classes. Then he had homework to do on top of that. It was a lot. But working with some of the amazing support and resources that we have at Brookdale, including our success coaches and some of our other offices, he was able to create a schedule that allowed him to balance it in such a way that he was able to do both at the same time. And the last thing I'll say about it is, quite honestly, most of the students that I've worked with are students who have jobs, whether they're part-time or full-time or somewhere in between. And so it's not impossible. I won't tell you that it's easy, but it's something that you can do if you have the tenacity and you have the drive to say, I'm going to make it happen. And I believe those of you who are listening to me have all of that and you're capable of getting it done.
Yeah. So you did mention the FAFSA. So, I mean, what else? Are there any other first steps that people need to take advantage of the CCOG?
Yeah, so the very first step in becoming a Brookdale student is getting connected. And many students start with filling out a Brookdale application. If you go onto our Brookdale website, and you'll see the website information at the end of this conversation, you can go right on and fill out the application there. That triggers in the system that you are a student who's ready to start your journey at Brookdale. So by filling out that application, it lets our admissions office know that you're ready to get your journey started. From there, you can let them know that you also would like to fill out your FAFSA or your alternative application, which lets us know what type of support you can receive. One of the first questions that people have is, how much money am I going to be able to get, or how much money am I going to have to pay in order to come to Brookdale? And so by filling out that application, whether it's the FAFSA application or the New Jersey alternative application, you can get that answer. It'll tell you what types of grants, what types of loans, what types of other types of aid you might be eligible for. And so you'll fill that out. You can use our dedicated FAFSA coaches to help you through that process. And then from there, they can help you get registered for your classes. We have amazing success coaches that will sit down with you and help you plan your schedule, amongst other things, and really get you going on that journey. But for your first step, I would definitely recommend filling out that application or stopping in and talking to one of our admissions folk about your desire to start your journey at Brookdale.
Yeah, so this opportunity really seems like a fantastic way for working class, undocumented folks to sort of have some sort of upward mobility in a setting that might not be absolutely clear to everybody, right? Yeah, do you have any final comments about, I mean, speaking out to the students out there or prospective students, what would you say to them if they're thinking about applying for this grant?
Yeah, I would tell you that I was you. So when I first started in college years ago, grew up in a household where resources were definitely not abundant. I grew up with family who cared about me, and we talked about college, but I wasn't really sure if it was a path for me or if I could even do it. And I decided to ask around and I started my journey. I had a lot of bumps and all types of things along the way. Lots of obstacles were thrown in my direction. But I can say without a doubt, getting my education has completely changed my life. And I wouldn't change anything about the journey. So, my advice to you is get started. I know that feeling of not feeling enough, or not feeling that you belong, or not feeling that you're smart enough, or not even feeling like you're a part of the place that you're trying to start at. I went to a college where I wasn't really reflected in the student body, and I didn't really feel like I belonged there. And so I know all of those feelings, and it can really be a barrier to taking that first step. But one thing that I can guarantee you, and I don't make a lot of guarantees in life, but from the students who started, some of them decided college wasn't for them. I have many more students or stories of students who started and college was absolutely for them, even though they didn't think it was, and they ended up graduating. What I can say without a doubt is that regardless of what their journey was, they say at every turn that going to college completely changed the way that they saw the world and the way that they saw themselves. And so I encourage you to take that step. Brookdale is a great place to get started. We have small class sizes. We have amazing faculty, world class. We have so many offices that are there to support you along the way. If you are a student with disabilities, maybe you had an IEP or a 504, we have a wonderful disability services office that's there. We have a career and transfer pathways office that's there that can help you with things like your resume or transitioning into the next phase of your journey. We have dedicated coaches. And so, like with this team behind you and your desire to get it done, I know that you can do it. And so I encourage you to take that first step. Reach out to us at Brookdale. We're going to be with you every step of the way. My name is Carla. I'm a pathway mentor. Feel free to shoot me a message, and I'm happy to be there to support you any way I can.
Yeah, I mean, how do you deal with imposter syndrome? Like this idea that you're not qualified to go to college, or even if you would like to go, you feel like you're not up to it, right? How do you deal with that?
So, imposter syndrome is tricky because sometimes that voice in your mind that's saying those things has been on repeat for so long that you don't even realize you're talking yourself out of something. And so, if you're listening to this message and you're a person who deep down, you know that you want to go to college or you want a better job or you want a different career and something has been stopping you, my first advice is to think about what's been holding you back. Because sometimes you don't know that that imposter syndrome, that voice has been the thing that's been stopping you from doing it. And then positive affirmations, change the narrative in your head. There are so many ways that you can do that. For some people, it's a matter of going on YouTube and playing positive affirmations. I can do this. I'm capable. I belong. For other people, it's going to talk to a friend or a family member, or maybe another person who's gone to college who can say, listen, I see things in you that really show me that you're capable of doing this. And for other people, therapy might be your best bet. Sometimes those narratives or other challenges might be really strong, and it's hard to talk yourself out of those types of thoughts and feelings. And so having a professional walk you through it might be highly beneficial. But I think for all of us, from college presidents to students to professors to people that you talk to each and every day, we all have points in our lives where imposter syndrome creeps in, where we don't feel like we're enough. So it's actually a normal thing to feel that way. But then the most important thing to know is that most times that voice isn't correct. And so finding the truths about yourself that really are true and uncovering those, it's really the first step and the best step in helping you overcome those feelings of imposter syndrome.
Yeah, so I know like in my high school, there was maybe like 15% of people dropped out before they were able to graduate. Um, is there a path forward for people like that who might not have gotten their high school diploma yet, if they want to go to college?
Yes, there is a path forward. So one of my earlier jobs at Brookdale was actually with the youth GED program. And the word youth kind of throws people off because it serves 16 to 24-year-olds. But we actually have a GED program that serves people of all ages. And that GED can help you get your diploma and transition into Brookdale. So the answer is yes. If you did not complete high school, or maybe you moved to this country and you need to earn your high school diploma, you can do that with the assistance of our GED programs.
Could you share a bit, Carla, about your story as a first generation student that might be relatable for some of our listeners who may not have the family history of higher education or might not have the prior knowledge about how they can develop their careers?
Yeah, so talk about imposter syndrome. When I made the transition into school, into college for the first time, I felt so out of place. I really felt like I didn't belong there, honestly. Neither one of my parents attended college. And so I was doing something that I hadn't seen done in my family, and it was really intimidating. And so when I started my college journey, I remember going into the classroom that first time and I just felt so out of place. I didn't know what a syllabus was. I didn't know what was going on. Like they were talking, everything was coming at me so fast. It was really a difficult thing to navigate. But one thing that I'm most proud of is that I stuck with it because it would have been really easy in that moment to just walk away from it at those messages of you don't belong here, like you're the first one in your family to go to college, all of those things really, I don't know, put me in a place where I was questioning myself and my ability. But I saw it through. And I went from being the girl in the classroom who didn't know about college and didn't know what a syllabus was to now teaching at a college and helping other students overcome their own personal challenges and barriers to earning their degree. So it's possible. I'm no different than you. I'm a person just like you who grew up in a family that I love and I was grateful to be a part of, but college wasn't necessarily the path that had been set before. And so I wanted something different and I pursued it. And I believe 100% that each and every one of you have the ability to do the same if it's really what you want to do.
Well, thank you so much, Carla, for joining us and sharing your valuable insights about this grant and about the opportunities that people have, regardless of immigration status, to go to college. We're going to have the website down below where you can apply for this opportunity. Big thank you to our listeners with Radio Jornalera for tuning in. And remember, if you have any questions or need any information about this grant, please get in touch. Yeah, website will be below. So till next time.
Audio Jungle.